did any kind of unique research, whether it's talking to people on the religious side or people on the spiritual side, or supposedly connecting with afterlife? And then also, for all of you, how did it change you as you went and examined the film or looked at the film in terms of your own views about the subject? Any or all of you?
Well, in terms of research, I kept meaning to get around to that. And then you realise how, you know, I remember when I wrote The Queen, as soon as you type in the word Princess Diana, death, and conspiracy episode, yes, into the internet, it's a very short step to UFOs and dolphins and stuff. So I must have to try a little bit. And what I found out though is quite frightening. You know, if you type some of these questions into the internet and think, let's see what's been done on this, you're very quickly in a community of strange people. And so I kept thinking, well, we'll get round to that. And I did send a couple of emails to some people that I thought would be really interesting. And there's one in particular, and he was just pretty unwilling to meet, which was, you know, I've never experienced that before. You know, I think maybe the fact that it was a film or whatever, but he was a physicist that I thought had done this stuff. And then later I thought, well, I don't want this film to become a film in which we have the answer, and we've got a scoop here. And it is, and guess what? You know, this happens. Because that's not what the film is. The film is really a story of inquiry, curiosity, and a feeling of incompleteness, and a feeling of living with mystery. And that it's something that unites every one of us. You know, other than the act of being born, the only other act is none of us know where we're going. None of us has any idea, and we're going to do all of it alone. And I thought, well, it would be quite interesting just to provoke those questions, but without offering any answers. It's quite, you know, it's very private.
And for the rest of you, how did it affect you, or particularly, let's say, Matt and Clint, what did it raise questions in you? You had to raise questions in your mind, or you had to feel something that you responded to, because it just, anyone in the audience has to react in one way or another.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions, but that's just like Peter was saying, that the questions, that's where it ends. The questions are there, and you pose the questions, and then it's up to the audience to meet you halfway and think about it in terms of their own lives, and what their thoughts are, or what experiences they might have had. There may be some near-death experiences out there, and it'd be interesting to see what the answers were, but they're going to have to come up with those answers. As far as the technical thing, you know, like doing the tsunami, I took all the amateur footage that had been shot on that particular tsunami when it was happening. We took that and used that as our influences to get going, but everything else has got to be the imagination of the performer. And I know Cecile talked to anchor people, but I'm sure she at French too, or what have you. But Bryce, you know, everybody has their way of preparing, and I just allow everybody to do that on their own. If something isn't working, that's another thing. But if you have people that do that inner research, they bring that to the table. And so I'm a firm believer in research, but I'm also a firm believer in utilizing the instincts that are within your soul, or your body, or in your stomach, or wherever they reside.
And it was a terrific script, too. It was just a terrific script. It was really tight. When anybody asked me about it, I said, it's just a really tight script. It read like a play, in the sense where sometimes, you know, when you do a play, you don't have to do anything. You explore the material, and every answer you need is there. And I'm somebody who does a lot of research normally on my own, and I didn't feel, I mean, for one, as Peter said, I didn't really want to go down the rabbit hole of, you know, if I knew somebody, if somebody was recommended to me, it's like, this guy really is fantastic, you know, and I would have gone, nobody like that came up, and it was really all on the page, you know, in terms of getting ready. I had to do some forklift training. That was about it.
Frank, could you talk about your role? You're sort of the anchor in a way, the one person who's not really caught up in the whole sort of belief in something beyond whatever. In a certain way, I found that very strong in the film, the way in which you were sort of outside of it, and maybe look at the rest of the film in a different way.